The video everyone's been waiting for. But we're just about to start this video, and by the time you watch it, it would have taken a good 2 weeks to get right into it. There is so much work to do on Ding's car, and it's not because of us that it hasn't been fixed, and it hasn't been because of him either. It genuinely, finding parts for this car was quite difficult. And number one, I think that in particular there, that new subframe has taken 6 months to arrive.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Once we did get that, Chris said, we still haven't got all the parts for it. We want the quarter panel here. We want all of the parts that Ding's got for it. So I'll include a clip where Ding come and drop that off. And of course now we are ready to actually start this car, but only because we've got a bit of time, and this is going to take up a bit of time and a bit of room. So out of the poor paint booth that you haven't been able to use for the last, how long's this been in? It's been here for a couple of months.
Yeah, we moved it round shortly after I painted the Morris body, so that was January.
Yeah.
So probably February onwards it's been in here.
It's been here a while, and of course we didn't want to leave it outside. It's got no glass in it and it's just going to destroy it. So Chris has got the jump pack on it. Hopefully it's going to start up. We're going to bring it round the other side and get it straight up on the ramp and actually take a look
underneath see what we're working with.
You're up against. But yeah, let's take a look at it on the ramp.
She runs.
To see this one coming out of hiding in that paint booth and straight in the workshop up on the 2-poster lift. We're going to get it up in the air and actually have a look ourselves, because we've never had a look underneath here. We want to have a look at the parts that things dropped off. So we've got the whole quarter panel there, and then of course back under the car to make a bit of a plan. Right, so you see us at the quarter panel, back at the car, back at the quarter panel, and the truth is, I'm going to say at this point is, I still don't know how you're going to do it, but Chris is just looking underneath at different ideas of what he would like to do and what he's thinking. So over to you, bud.
Well, ultimately I want to put the panel work in there using original joints.
Right.
So obviously you've got to get your head round. I mean, do you want to?
Yeah, mate, honestly, this is probably the most vital part of it.
So what Dean has started doing is he's started unpicking this outer skin to replicate really what he's done on the car. But I'm actually looking at the viability of putting this whole corner in.
Yeah.
Because as you can see here, and as we've looked and we've stood it up, see this is jointed here.
Yeah.
This is jointed here. It's jointed all the way around the floor. It's jointed in here, and whether it's doable to unpick it at all those joints. I mean, shall I stand it up a little bit?
I'll do it, mate. You want to grab the camera and explain?
Because there's a lot of layers to this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers.
For sure.
But if you look in here, you've got a floor pan joint there. Do you want to take that?
Yeah.
So that's a floor pan joint all the way around here. So that could stay on the car. If you follow it round, Rob, it goes right the way to the back panel.
It's just a floor panel.
Now Dean has split the car, we'll show in a minute, he's split all that at the back panel. So we would split the same, and I say we'd follow that. Now where this, we'll have to uncover that and see where one joins the other. But you can see with these, like this piece would stay on the car, this piece would stay on the car, all this floor would, all this seat box would, and this whole lot would come in as one panel. Now the roof, a little bit tricky, but it is on our side. You can see it joints there. So this would all stay, and this would be on the car, and that would mate underneath it. So, and again, the seals all got joints in it. So it's...
Your plan would be?
It's a possible. I'm not saying that is how I'm going to do it.
No, you're just thinking about it at the moment.
But I'm thinking, rather than trying to repair what's there, I'll replace everything as a whole piece. Now we've had a look under here, and we can see a bit more of the damage. So she's kinked this inner seal through here, and that's obviously thrown all this over.
It's all kinked here.
But quite a bit of damage on that tank. Not leaking, but it's damaged.
Yep.
And couldn't leave that. Now, as we've already assessed, to change the tank, the transmission's got to come out.
Yeah. So the gearbox.
Subframe's toast anyway, so we knew from day one, didn't we?
Probably worth pointing out to people, that is the gearbox in the back of this car.
Yeah, rear transmission, front engine. So to remove the transmission, to remove the tank, the subframe's got to come out anyway. We knew that anyway, it was damaged. Dean's got the replacement. Now the replacement he's bought is...
on and off, fittable, without touching the gearbox.
Yes, it's got a removable
cross
brace in it to enable you to but
this one obviously is fixed.
And by the time we'd be returning the car to Dean, that would be fitted on the car to go back. But so we'll have to speak to Dean and say he needs to get a tank for one, because by the time we've repaired the car, before we can put all that back in, the tank's got to go in. But I'm just thinking that however you repair the car, all that's got to come out.
And an absolute mammoth amount of work.
It is a mammoth amount of work, but however you dress it up, the tank's got to be replaced, so the transmission has to come out, subframe as we've already spoke about.
Yeah.
So we might as well start stripping it, because however you dress it up, that's got to be done, isn't it? And with all that out the way, it's a lot easier for me to work on it.
Yeah.
And we go from there, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want it, I mean, it's pointless us putting it on the frame machine with a gearbox in it.
It's going to be very difficult then to remove. It's a lot easier to remove it here, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then we've got the headache of then moving it from here with all that removed onto there. But I'm sure we'd find a way, wouldn't we? And
well, I suppose we could sort of work something out with that old subframe.
Putting it back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get it moving.
Mate,
so, mate,
we haven't been putting it off. We've been waiting for parts, but I'll tell you
but
what,
we've got no excuse now.
In this heat, I'd like to put it off for another couple of months, but I guess let's crack on and get this gearbox out and go from there, eh?
Yeah.
Let's get on the front thing first. Get an order a fuel tank, mind you.
Well, that's a little way off, but I think that's because it's quite extensive damage through here.
Yeah.
If you start looking at that, and like I say, it's further up here, it's kinked, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking repairing that chassis to a correct standard is not going to be doable.
Not really possible.
I think it's going to be replaced.
All right, mate.
So yeah, a lot of work, but then on the other hand, if you can go to those joints, it's as good as factory, isn't it? Time it's welded back up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
should we get on with it then, mate?
Yeah.
I think you should take that jumper off, put a t-shirt on, mate. We're about to get hot. Let's do it. Chris actually just said, Rob, run a car vertical on it, because this one's definitely a Category S. And if they didn't put this one as a Category S, the person who assessed it needs to reconsider. So odometer all good, financial and legal all good, and damage detected. Let's actually click on it. One record found of this car being an insurance total loss. Yeah, Category S repairable structural damage. 06/2023. So Dean's had this one sat around for quite a while. I'm not sure when he bought it and how long he had it, but if he watches the video, I'm sure he'll let me know. On the car vertical check as well, of course, you've got your financial and legal, natural disaster, market value, specs, ownership, and of course your timeline. And in your timeline, it'll tell you any MOT history, some service inputs, date of first registration, ownership changes, and of course if it's had any previous plate transfers, which I'm sure this car would have done at this age currently. Let's take a little quick look. So another ownership change there. Yeah, had license plate change and then had it changed back there. I want to thank Car Vertical for the continued support on the channel. To benefit from a nice little discount off your check, use that code that's been displayed up on screen throughout the check, or hit the link in the description where it will automatically divert you to Car Vertical and include your discount. So where we're going to be removing the rear end of this car, of course, we've put a pump stand underneath the front end of the car because it is going to become front heavy. And the last thing you want is a fail. We've all seen them fail videos where the car falls off the lift. So at this moment in time, Chris is spraying up all of the bolts that we're going to need to undo on this car, remove all of the under trays, exposing all of the bolts and the braces that are all covered up. I think he's pretty much there with it. Let's take a look. Guys, I popped out there to get us a cold drink and Chris committed, I'm afraid. That is it now. There's no turning back.
Yep.
The exhaust is off.
Yep.
It's over there on the floor. He's got the heat shields off, under trays. He is moving along with it pretty quick. And the bits you can't see is this brace is actually all undone as well. It's just got one nut inside.
It's got a few more yet.
Oh, is it?
Out, yeah, but prop shaft, first prop shaft's done. I've sprayed the other one up. I've got to do that in a minute. But yeah, and we've kind of decided, haven't we, to drop it as a complete pack.
Yeah.
Subframe, transmission, hubs, uprights, everything. So
then we're going to remove the transmission.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get as much as we can, then we'll lower it on the floor and get the remainder done, and then lift the car off of all that, hopefully. If it comes out how we think it does.
This is so much work, Chris, isn't it? I must admit, I didn't realise it was that much, but that is the way it goes, mate, I'm afraid, though, isn't it? It's...
Yep. I mean, it had a fair old smack, didn't it? Look, and you see what it's done to that subframe.
Yeah. I think Dean said he spoke to the guy that crashed it.
Did he?
Yeah, and he lost control and obviously hit something with this wheel, because this wheel, when he bought it, I believe, was knocked off. I'll probably have to go back and watch his video to find that out, but I guess that's irrelevant to us while we're doing this anyway.
Yeah.
So we're just going to carry on
removing
as much as we can. We've got an oil cooler here and we've got pipes running right down, so we'll have to disconnect them as well, won't we?
It's all reasonably straightforward though so far, isn't it?
You love that saying though.
Well, it is, isn't it? You know, everything seems to be that you can get to it.
Yeah.
Without having to remove 20 things out of the way.
Which always
and then
helps.
Bending a spanner and making a...
I've just realised Johnny.
Go on.
You're actually sitting down in your chair working.
Yeah, right and all.
I love it. I've only just clicked really that you're actually sitting in your chair. Yeah. That's genius.
Yeah, well, my old back knows about it nowadays. Yeah. If I do anything too repetitive, like. But
let's carry on, mate, eh?
Jaws of being nearly 55, mate.
That's what it is, isn't it? You don't look it if that helps.
Well, it's nice of you to say.
Right, should we carry on, mate? It is getting proper stuffy in here, isn't it? We've got the door shut, obviously, and just that one cracked, but you can see how bright it is out there. We're not going to complain, but you're soaked.
I know.
Right.
There you go. It is what it is.
It is what
We've moaned about the winter long enough.
That's right, we have. Yeah, we definitely can't moan about it being hot. Let's carry on. So now it is unplugging. Underneath there, you've got two props. You've got your handbrake cables. You've got two coolant lines. There is various wiring plugs. There is so much to undo on the bottom of the car before it can actually come down. You can see we've got it in neutral, so Chris undoes one, spins the wheels, moves the prop round and actually gets all of them undone on both of the props. Gets those out of the way, gets those exhaust bolts out of the way. Well, the exhaust is off at this point, I can now see, but you kind of get a gist of what I'm saying. Everything's got to come out of the way before it comes down. So now on to the bigger bolts. So you've got 6 main bolts that hold this subframe to the bottom of the car. Now the car's got the pins and then you've got the nuts underneath on the subframe. 2 of them are actually hidden up underneath there, so you need to get those out first, because once we lower it down as well, and the 2 nuts for the engine mount, the gearbox mounts, we're going to need to get them out. Once they're out, we're going to get the water out, spin the pipe round and lower the car down. You probably see there I've had a change of clothes because I got under here and disconnected this coolant hose from here, and I've looped it round back on itself, and it literally shot down shot all over my face, all down me.
I didn't laugh.
In this heat, I've had to put a jacket on. Anyway, Chris has got us in quite a good place there by actually. You can see them dripping away. He's disconnected the brake light. Chris, do you want to explain? It's probably easier.
So both prop shafts done now. They were quite straightforward. You've just done the coolant lines for the oil cooler. Main loom for the transmission is quite easy. It's on plugs. I have done the handbrake cable up where it goes through the tunnel.
Yeah.
Because that comes out with the, we're dropping this as one pack, as we said, so that comes out with those. I've done these are studs with nuts on, so I've took those out ready. I've also took the nuts off the mountings for the transmission, mounting it to the subframe, because once that's on the floor, I thought they're going to be real tricky to get at, because it's going to be down low on the floor.
Definitely. When
we come to splitting transmission from subframe. Struts are off. What else was there?
So basically, the struts are off and these are hanging on the subframe. So,
couple of wires there. I think that's about it, Rob. I've got these all loose.
Yep.
Those 4. Now that aluminium
Cross
support,
brace.
cross brace there. I've left 1 bolt in that end. There's 2 that because I can't get to until we lower it on the floor. So the idea is, in a minute, we're going to lower it down, swing them arms out of the way, undo those, and then get the nuts off of these, and then lift the car and see if there's anything hidden.
Hopefully.
I've got gear selectors there, transmission selector, so I've undone that. So
this car's going to become very, very front heavy in a moment, so we've got to start being like real cautious.
That's right.
There.
That's why we're thinking we bring it all the way to the ground, then get those remaining nuts and bolts out.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we can lift it up.
Yeah.
The minimum amount we need to lift it up, and with the loader, bring the suspension out.
Should we crack
bring
on
the
then,
transmission
mate?
out. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to do that probably live, but it'd probably be too long.
It will be too long.
I know it's only a few nuts and bolts, but it'll be. Fingers crossed. We'll have that on the floor in a minute.
Let's give it a go, mate. Well,
today
we're committed now. Yeah, well, I can't believe how far you've got in that little space of time. So let's carry on with it.
All right,
let's
mate.
get it out. So now down on the floor and everything's out the way, and it is time. We're going to undo the 2 shock bolts, so just 1 each side. Take those 6 bolts, nuts out, the last remaining few mil that they're on there, and then we're going to slowly edge the car up in the air on the ramp. And you can see here, you've got to be really cautious because of the car being front heavy. And you can see it actually takes a little pop there, and it does actually pop up the back of the car. That's the rear subframe and gearbox removed. Right, mate.
Well, pretty controlled there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lowered the car, got the last nuts off and lifted it up. You was right about front end heavy.
Yeah. Obviously, just to elaborate, we have lifted the ramp a little bit more, so we've created that gap. But yes, it became very front heavy, didn't it?
Yep. And there it is. And there's not a lot.
Holding that on.
Not a lot holding that on now, mate.
So these are the bolts Chris previously mentioned that he undone because they'd be hard to get to after. Yep. So I think his drive shafts.
Yep. Rear mounts.
Rear mounts, and that gearbox should slide out.
Separated,
yeah.
And then we can get in there because that now allows the tank to drop down.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
So we do that next, I guess, Rob. Split that and then get that next.
Look how stripped this car is.
Yeah, don't take long, does it? Once you start tearing them apart.
No.
They take a lot longer to put them back together.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
But yeah, so we've got quite a big heat shield and
is that
2 straps on that tank.
Yeah, I can see now. Yeah, that I should think once that heat shield comes out, I can see a couple of the bolts at the top look like they go through the heat shield and the tank itself. So
they do, don't they?
It's probably that heat shield does stay on there, Chris.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So look, I guess let's get this transmission split from this rear subframe first, and we'll go from there.
We'll get a pallet and get the loader, put that on the pallet and put it somewhere safe.
Fingers crossed, mate. That is only a couple of bolts left in that. Yeah, you've done the majority of it.
Yeah.
Just for the record, it is 24 degrees at the moment.
It's a warm day to be doing it, but there you go.
Let's continue on, I guess, until we've got
We're
that
committed
split.
now, mate.
We are committed. So, of course, now with that removed, we need to remove that transmission away from that subframe. So you've got 2 big nuts on the back there, and then there's like an earth you have to move out of the way, and there's another nut hiding underneath it. Chris previously already undone both of the front mounts via the nuts when he was underneath the car. So now they're undone, we can slide a pallet in, roll the bed out of the way and hopefully get it put on a pallet and get it put away. That last nut off, that's it removed. Now, I just lifted it up a little bit, got the jack under there, we slid a pallet under it, got that put away, and now we can actually have a little look underneath the car and start removing that fuel tank. There's quite a bit of damage on that fuel tank, and we're not going to be able to show you, probably till the next video, where we can turn it upside down and show you how badly it is damaged. Of course, Chris is taking the full lead on this video, and I'm getting him to explain it that way. I haven't got to do it twice because I'll get it round the wrong way, but I'm going to say that's everything out of the way for you now.
Yeah, do you want to
yeah,
down
definitely.
the show under there, Rob?
You're going to do the talking though, Chris?
Yeah, the tank is removed now and you can see the extent of the damage. And I've taken some measurements from the new subframe, which I have to say, there's appears to be less tolerance in the new subframe, and they don't have these bushings, so there'll be, I imagine it makes it a lot stiffer on the back end. But so I've took a measurement on these, and I've took a measurement on these, and I've written it on here.
Okay.
And that should be centres 1370. So that's to that one, that side. So that's the widest point of the subframe, that's these front ones.
Okay.
They should be 1370 centres, and they're, well, I can show you.
Let me just come round out the way, mate.
Just hook it on the edge, that's fine. And then we go edge to edge, which effectively is the same as centres, isn't it? So 1335, so we're 35mm difference there.
Right.
So that's moved in 35mm there.
You can actually see, if you don't mind me just for a minute, Chris, that's lovely and flat there. Guys, hopefully that is showing that. So that's lovely and flat there, and then you've got your bolt, and then you can see that one there.
All the distortion.
It's really distorted.
Kink through, I'm not going to get under there. There's a kink through here somewhere that I think we briefly mentioned yesterday, where it's...
Yeah, I'm just going to zoom in there, Chris.
Move that in.
So you can see that, guys, right up in there. It was, this car was actually hit a lot harder than I should think Dean expected it to be when he first bought it. And I did briefly speak to him last night, Chris, and he said he was actually just poodling through traffic, and a Skoda actually come out of nowhere and hit him in that wheel and pushed the wheel into the car. So he wasn't even going at great speed, he was poodling in traffic. But
there's a little bit of damage there I can see as well behind there. But yeah, so, and then I think we've shown this, but you can see how this is all rolled inside. Where that chassis is deformed, that's yeah, quite severe, isn't it?
it is.
So anyway, subframe back in.
Yep.
Cars, we can move it then, can't we?
Onto the jig.
Onto there, and we go from there, Rob.
Right then, mate, I guess let's slide that under, innit?
Yeah.
It is literally a couple of bolts. We'll probably put the shocks back on, won't we?
4 bolts, I think we're going to put. We'd probably go for these 4.
Yep.
And like you say, if we need to put the struts in, we will. There's not a lot of weight on the back of the car though.
No.
So, but
well,
yeah.
Let's roll her under then, mate, and get it fitted. Now with the fuel tank out and everything out of the way, we need to get this on the frame machine. It's back in with the rear axle. We are only going to hang this in on 4 nuts. So push it in, push it back on its 6 pins, and just put 1 nut in each corner so that we can move this car around. That is it, all done. Let's drag it out. And Chris brings in the mini digger onto the jig side. We'll shut the door, open the other one, roll it down by hand, get a couple of chains on it. And once we get it to the door, we'll put the chains on, pull it up onto the frame machine, and it looks like job is a good one. Mate, what an epic amount of work you got done there in one video.
Yep.
And that car is now all stripped out. I think I was wishful thinking. When Dean asked us to do this, I said to Chris, yes, we get a video out of this. It's a bit more than a video.
It is, yeah.
Because we have literally, that was a whole day. It's the next day now, and that was a whole day on that. But Chris has got it to the point now where he's happy. It's on this jig. It's on the pads. It can go up in the air. He just said he can block up the front wheels.
Because it's nose heavy.
So the car can't do that. And because all that subframe's got to come out again, mate, hasn't it? Sorry, I just took over explaining there.
No, it's fine. You
definitely no limelight there, mate. You've done a whole lot of that yourself, and that was an epic amount of work. That is going to be the end of today's video and the first video on Dean's GTR. I don't know how many it's going to be, but Chris is going to crack on with it, and there really is still so much work, not only to be done to this car, but the preparation on that quarter panel that's arrived. If you enjoyed this video, we'd appreciate that thumbs up. If you're not following us on our other socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, that's Salvage Rebuilds, there's a link in the description down below. Don't forget as well, recently I've seen a couple of comments saying, Rob, I've reached out and emailed you and you haven't replied. And that email address that you've actually probably sent to is an advertising agency. That's nothing to do with us. The one that you need, if you want to sell us one of your cars or sell us one of your friends' cars, is sales, S-I-U-K, @gmail.com. That email address is in the description down below, as is all of the other links. We'll see you very, very soon in the next one. No joke, Chris.
No joke, Rob.
Right.